A study came out last year showing that of young men ages 18 to 29, 63% are not in a committed relationship. They're single, entirely single. Furthermore, in addition to this, the percentage of single men overall looking for a relationship has declined over the last few years from 61% down to 50%. That is, not only is nearly 2/3 of our young men in our country today single, but half of our single men overall are not even looking for a relationship, and that seems to be continuing to decline. This is a serious concern, as committed relationships are good for society and good for individual men as well. And I see many videos and comments online to the effect that many men are checking out of dating, given the difficult economic environment, the disrespect and unappreciation they feel from women, the heightened, nearly unrealistic standards that are put upon romantic relationships, and the lack of social support, as well as unfavorable divorce laws, are altogether disincentivizing men from pursuing relationships at all. And we should make serious efforts towards turning this around. This doesn't bode well for anybody.
I feel the entire idea of having a relationship and being committed to someone is changing every passing year. What was once exciting and beautiful is now temporary and unoriginal. It's actually repetitive. It's the same deal. It usually starts in a bar or online on Tinder. The guy swipes right, the girl swipes back. They chat, share images, talk about their interests, and keep interacting until there's a hormonal buildup of attraction. Then they meet once or twice and get physical. Sometimes it lasts, but mostly it doesn't. One of them finds the other boring, or one of them ghosts the other one, or they just realize they want something different. And the cycle continues and repeats itself over and over again. It damages a guy's self-esteem, while it constantly provides an ego massage to the woman, because the amount of attention and free validation that a woman gets online and in the real world can never be compared to the downright rejections and ignored messages a man gets on a daily basis.
Why men are checking out of society and relationships. People don't go where they're unwanted, and everybody always puts the blame and shame on men for everything that has gone wrong in society. A woman wants a man who is emotionally available and sensitive, but if a man expresses his sensitivity, he is told that he has a fragile ego. If a man wants to defend himself against a woman, she will shame him into being quiet by saying he's either too aggressive or he has toxic masculinity or he has, again, a fragile ego. If a woman says something offensive, she is protected. If a man says something offensive, he is canceled. It's considered sexist or misogynist to point out a woman's shortcomings, and you have to walk around eggshells with them because of their sensitivity. But men get mocked, ridiculed, and disrespected in society, and they're just supposed to sit back and take it. You can make fun of men all you want online, mock them, criticize them. If you do that to a woman, you'll...
Women our age are more likely to be in relationships than men, which makes you think, who is everybody dating at the end of the day? If the women aren't dating the men, then...
What crosses my mind is I think there's perhaps two explanations. One, women in that age group are dating older men, 30 to 40. But I think the bigger thing is that women are maybe think they're in a relationship or are in a relationship and they're sharing higher quality guys. So, and there's this concept called hypergamy. Women are all chasing after the top tier of men. So a lot of women are happier sharing a top tier guy than settling for a guy that's actually on their level.
The era we now live in has changed significantly from how society and culture were 7 or 8 decades ago. One thing stands out to me in particular when I think about these developments. Why are males approaching women differently now than they used to? What took place during this period? Men chase women around and make idiots of themselves, but do they really want to be with them? No matter how far away from you a woman was, there was no quick way to get in touch with her before social media, smartphones, and the internet. Since there was no other way to interact with women back then, males would physically approach women to show that they were interested in them. A man had to follow social norms by dressing appropriately and even talking to the girl's parents before asking her out on a date. Men can now interact with women whenever they want, from wherever they are, and women can do the same for men. It required a lot of effort a couple of decades ago if you think about it. Everything had to be organized by the man. That was simple and, I suppose, a little more thrilling. You probably had an image of the person in your head that you saw and liked because you couldn't look her up on social media. And that's what made guys go up to the woman and ask her out on a date face to face. Most people dated inside their own groups back then since it was the norm. The distance posed a serious problem. Anyone, wherever in the world, can have a live online conversation with you today. Men and women did not therefore have access to such luxury in the past. These luxuries certainly allow people to spend less time and money on socializing and going on dates, but they also lessen the authenticity of such interactions. Why is it that men walking away puts women in a bad situation? Because with more men out of the picture and the dating marketplace, women will have to settle for men they wouldn't have wanted to date in the first place. But because there won't be more options, they will have to settle for someone who doesn't have the best looks, or someone who doesn't make a lot of money. In the long term, this will also mean that the economics of dating will change entirely. Women will no longer have the highest demand, and men will no longer be in excess supply. There will be more women per man, and women will have to go to similar lengths men used to go to in the past to get women's attention. Today, approaching women nearly always results in being ignored or called names. Why? Because most males are perceived by women as predators or desperate men. They will be fine if they already know a guy and want him to contact them, but that is another matter. But it is simply not worthwhile for a male to approach an unidentified woman. There are too many risks. Social embarrassment, total ignorance, and a generalized dread of rejection are just some of the reasons why men choose to avoid approaching women. If a man approached a woman respectfully to start a conversation, she would likely embarrass him more often than not. In a video I saw, a man makes an absolute mess of himself by trying to talk to a woman without being rude or odd. The woman fabricated the claim that the contact was unusual and posted it to social media for laughs, attention, and perhaps a shot at becoming viral. I found myself thinking why in the world I would want to approach a woman today as I saw this happen. To understand why this is happening, we also need to understand that different women treat different guys in different ways. I want you guys to think about social standing and how one's value affects how they are treated. Think about times when you were approached by a homeless person in your own life. You went on the defensive right away and determined not to talk to them or give them anything. The same is true for women. Women are all about social status and image, even though their circumstances are significantly worse now than they were a century ago. Women must constantly be extra cautious, since a man may take them against their will at any time. A woman will treat different guys differently, depending on their financial value. She will treat the man as though he is useless or inferior if she doesn't believe he is better than her. She would treat a man with respect and be more accepting of him, though, if she feels that he is superior to her. Watch the interactions between a woman and her employer. Consider whom she would treat respectfully if they came to her, the boss or the junior. Modern women clearly have no respect for men anymore. And I think the majority of guys have decided not to talk to these women because they have realized this. Men have made the decision to just refrain from any actions that enable women to treat them disrespectfully and belittle them. Men have noticed that women's treatment of men has worsened over time. They have made the decision to put their name, integrity, and respect before the disdain and denigration that women have shown them. Seriously, I'd be much better off avoiding women myself because, I promise, I've heard tales of girls harassing women who then call the cops on them. Obviously, there was nothing wrong with the men. They just weren't as attractive or perhaps didn't make millions of dollars. So why then would I or anyone else subject themselves to anything like this? It is not logical. Additionally, I believe that a significant portion of women are simply no longer worth contacting. I believe women desire men's validation in public, so they may flaunt it in their circles, embarrass the man, and feel validated, something they might lack in every aspect of their real life. Can one even approach modern women? Not like this, I guess. Guys are done with women's unrelenting complaining and excessive demands, and that's why they are walking away. Unattractive males are not desired by women. They are not seeking for somebody who drives a Honda or Toyota instead of the most recent Tesla. If a man's income is less than a specific threshold, they won't consider him. Despite having everything they desire, women continue to cheat on men. They also don't want to approach men because, well, they can't even carry on a simple conversation with a total stranger. Women do say that about males who approach them, after all. Men are now beginning to understand everything. Women don't appear to understand how generally unfair the game is for guys. Therefore, they don't have time to waste caring about them. Males are leaving, and contemporary women are increasingly paying the price by having fewer males available for relationships. Men are working on being the best version of themselves. This is why entitled women will all end up alone. We can wait for kids until we are 50 if we even want them. There is no reason for men to stay the same because women changed. It's our turn now. Women going their own way already exists, and it's called feminism. Our best version of ourselves is without women. After years and years of ranting, rioting, whining that you don't need men, that we are worthless as fish on a bicycle, you think we are interested in inviting women into our life? Nope. No marriage, no children, no living together, no commitment, no long-term dating, no dates, no gifts, no romance, no trips, no conversation, no interaction, no association, no attention. Men are finally checking out, and women don't know what to do. Honestly, most women don't care about most men anyway, unless they're chads or have money. And if you have money, that's no guarantee whatsoever that you won't just be a used revenue stream for her at best, or hustled or scammed at worst. What you can control is to prioritize yourself, and if you choose to date, that's fine, but severely vet at all times, and preferably no cohabitation, and certainly no marriage. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.